7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother...
Hey guys, welcome back to the Matty Chymbor podcast. Whoa, it's been 3 years since my last episode because fuck you, the camera, fuck this thing, and fuck this thing. I'm so beyond angry of the trash that I had to deal with the last, There was 2 weeks where I just didn't do shit. I'll give you that. But you know what? I recorded from my last episode till this one. I recorded 3 episodes, and basically what happened was the audio was not matching what came out of this little fuck dick right here, and Daddy couldn't get it to sync up. And it's not that it was just like for like I couldn't line it up. It's the audio from my camera, which I don't even use. I use the audio from this little for whatever reason, when I would bring this audio in, it would like slowly get out of sync. So it's not like I can pinpoint which area. You guys don't give a shit. You're like, cool, no one's watching this. Anyways, I just had to deal with this shit. Fuck iMovie. I had to I made an appointment at the Genius Bar, didn't go because I don't like them. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? There's just 3 weeks of me going. I don't want to deal with this shit. I want to sit down when I do every 3 months like I scheduled and sit in my shitty squeaky chair and just talk. That's all I want to do. And then when I do that and it doesn't work out, and then there'd be times where this thing was saying, you know what? Am I just getting older? I'm 32. And guess what? I got toe fungus. I shit once a month. I'm just like, I don't got time. I got other things to worry about. I got decorative reindeer in my apartment. It's not seasonal. It's decorative. Just drinking this poor man work coffee. A lot of debates about people not liking, and this is new to me. I did not know this. People saying K-cups suck. K-cups being coffee, or I don't know, maybe they don't mean every beverage out of the K-cup. K-cup. K-cup just sounds like a weird titty. What size are those? K. What do you mean? And she takes them out there like, those zigzaggy. Whoa, okay, okay. The okay cups. Was that misogynistic? I don't know. Maybe internet. Know what the internet is? It's just one of these. A diamond. Don't you took that the wrong way. See, you're in trouble now. I'm gonna loop back to that because that was interesting to think about. But basically, K-cups, I don't know, people just say they don't taste good. Do they? Do you taste anything different? I don't know. It tastes like coffee to me. If anything, I think it tastes better than what came out of a piece of shit coffee pot. Nobody's ever made coffee out of a coffee pot. I go, this is the exact amount of grains or whatever grounds you should have used for the water you used. Every time somebody makes coffee in a coffee pot, it's either like water that's slightly brown or it's mud that makes you see through walls. You ever been that caffeinated you can just see through shit? You're just like, and then you just crash unbelievably hard. I used to work on a construction site, like on the site itself. I still work in construction, and those guys would make coffee that it was just like they poured a little bit of water into the thing with the grounds and just made like a sludge, and then they would just eat it. That's how disgusting it was. So maybe I'm just scarred, and all these little prissy pieces of shit who are drinking their fancy coffee. Oh, I want my fancy coffee. I had a bunch of old dudes being like, drinking pussy, and I'm like... People say they taste plastic. Somebody sent me an article today about it. What does it say? The science behind why pod tastes so bad. What does it say? At this very moment, I'm drinking a cup of coffee brewed from a Keurig machine, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that it tastes like stale, bland water. Fuck you, you fucking bitch. Not the person who sent that, the person who wrote the article. Is that where we're at? We're getting offended and mad at coffee? Such bullshit. It tastes fine. It's coffee. Okay, can we just as a general census be like, coffee doesn't taste good. Nobody drinks coffee for the flavor. And if you do, you're lying and you're crazy and you are in the same category of these psychos who drink decaf. Drinking decaf coffee is like doing coke that doesn't get you like jacked up. You're like, it's not for the output. It's for what it feels like going in. You're like, okay, you psycho. Coffee doesn't taste good. Let's all just say that right now. We drink coffee because we like how it makes us feel. The way people, you acquire a taste because of the effect. And the fact that we're like now at this point, we're like, oh, it doesn't. We're like so beyond it. You acquire a taste for the effect. What am I trying to say? And now we're so picky. We're like, fuck the effect. Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Did that make sense enough for me to be mad at it? I think is the question I started asking myself in my head when I was like, I don't know. What the fuck do I know? But anyways, I think it tastes fine. And if you don't think it tastes fine, then that's fine. But don't tell me that it doesn't taste good. It's fine enough. That's what it is. It's good enough. But then if you're going to be this little pussy-ass population of like, that floats to the top, enjoy the rush that it gives you. There can be a dog turd in my coffee, and I'm like, does it get me jacked up? It does. Oh, I was talking about the internet. Well, old Uncle Matt here had a clip posted on the Laugh Factory Instagram. Thank you, everybody who... I'm very happy about that, by the way. This isn't me bitching about that. Very appreciative. It does a lot. It's very scary in a way because it's the first time I had one of my jokes really be played at a mass level. Like at a level where it gets so many views on a platform that is just designed to have people trash you. Not Laugh Factory thing, but more so just the internet and Instagram per se. So anyways, boy, I'll tell you this right now. High schoolers don't like daddy. You know what? I don't know. It's like the issue, and I'm not gonna. I'll take blame if they don't. First off, I don't give a fuck. Like the people that were like shitting on me, I'll fucking put their bitch asses on blast, and you guys can, if you follow this shit, you can trash them too. But it was like people who have like, and this doesn't matter, but also it does. It's like people who have like 2 followers and they're following 2,000 people, and their page is like 5 posts and it's screenshots of like memes. You're like, then I'm kind of like, oh, I don't care about you. Like you, like very few, there was a few people that look normal and they're like, I hate this. And I was like, all right, well, you're not going to win them all. But then like those rando people who are like, this is trash. And I'm like, dude, you literally are a nobody. Like you're not even you're basically not even a person. You're following nobody and you have no followers. And your picture is like a cartoon. Obi High Ground Kenobi, very shit for performance. And I'm like, hey, Jake, I will put my fist through your fucking head. I don't give a fuck. I guess this is what people think in the crowd when they're not laughing, but they don't have the balls. This is like the middle ground from people watching to people liking and laughing. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, this is just the people in the crowd who don't laugh, and then in the meet and greet, they don't have the balls to say this to me because clearly they're in the comfort of their own home. But like, what kind of person feels the need? And it's like, this is where I want to understand them as a person, and I don't get really that mad. It's like, I get in a way and maybe this is kind of conceited of me. It's like, I get when you tell people good job because you're like happy for them and you want to make them, but it's like these people out there who are like, and this like honestly, people think it bothers me. I really don't give a fuck. Like when you do comedy long enough, and I'm not acting like I've been doing it a while, you deal with way worse rejection than some fat kid from Ohio telling you you're not good. Like, so it doesn't bother me, but I'm more interested in the people who make it a point to like go out of their way. And I think it's an attempt for them to be funny. So I deep down think they wish they were funny. They see somebody and they're like, oh, I can jump on this and maybe try to be humorous, given that there's like likes involved with comments now and stuff. But it always blows my mind where you're like, then just don't say anything. But it's not like they're neutral, though. There's like an underlying thing with them that involves them trying to get some sort of like something out of it. Like the amount of people like on my joke talking about how I don't look like I work in construction and I do like a stop, like a voice like that, and how quickly people are like, you're homophobic. I got called in like 2 comments back to back. One kid called me gay and then I get called homophobic, but it's like people reaching, and this is a very, played out idea with the internet. It's like this is just people reaching for something to get offended at so they can like be the leader of the offended, if that makes sense. Like people these days want to almost be like famous for getting offended and go viral for it. Like that's the level we're at, where people like, it's funny when people listen to your joke in a positive way and they're like, I liked that part made me funny, and you're like, damn, really? I never even thought that part was funny, like, thank you. But then in this negative way, people are like, I'm offended at that. You're like, how the fuck are you offended at how I twirled? I don't know what I'm doing. Me saying, like, just talking, there was a dialogue on the feed on there. It was very interesting to see because, like I said, this is the first time I've ever had this happen. So very interesting. I recommend you go in there and sift through this and just see me rebuttal. I definitely roasted people back, and everyone's like, of course, comedians and friends know that I was doing it to be funny, to try to get more out of this post rather than just the video. I figured if people are like, oh, that's funny, then they see people trying to like roast me and then I'm roasting them back in a funny way. That's obviously a way for me to try to gain traffic. But also I figured, with as douchey as this sounds, and it's sad that you have to think about this in a position like we're Instagram, and you want to get your video like going, you want it to get like traffic again. If I'm gonna, so basically I was commenting because the more comments you get, supposedly, I like these urban legends of like social media. They're like, if you get more comments, it shoots your video to the top. I'm like, of what? Like, who fucking told you that? But basically I was doing it because I figured if there's more comments, then if this algorithm is correct, my video will go up. So that's why, but people obviously took it like, and I quote, I probably won't find one, he's so insecure he has to write back to everybody who said something rude. You're like, I know I did it because I want to get more fucking views, you little 8-year-old. Some good coffee. I swear to God, in a couple years, like, people are, remember like on like when the internet, like YouTube first came out and all those people were like the first guy to go viral. Like there was like that like class of people, like the dude who did like the evolution of dance and the guy who did like chocolate rain. The ninja guy did like the backflip and hit himself in that. Like South Park kind of clustered those people of like where like the main, I forgot how they put it. Dude, there's going to be, I swear to God, sooner than later, like people are going to be like, that's the guy who got offended first at, internet Instagrams, the way their hearts are shaped. Like they want to be like famous for them getting offended. Like I can't wait till there's like a red carpet of the offended people and there's like paparazzi lining up like, excuse me, guy who shut down Jansport because he said it shouldn't be a sport because it's offensive. Quick. And he's just got there's just people there always like trying to get a fucking appalled at shit. It is unfortunate, but I think it's not smart to like, at no point in me doing this did I apologize. If anything, I didn't want to go like hardo on these people and just start saying shit that would like make the Laugh Factory be like, ooh, all right. But I also didn't not shoot back. I don't know. I try to do it in a funny way where it's like manageable and shit, but yeah. So that was very interesting to deal with, and I'm sure, and now like once you see that and you just see like these poor celebrities like where, Jesus Christ, I know like 90% of people, they're like, Amy Schumer sucks. I'm like, dude, that woman is funnier than any of you on the worst day ever of her life. Like, I don't understand how people are like, Amy Schumer sucks. Dane Cook is trash. No, they're not. They're so funny. You fucking idiots. You're not funny. And you're so unfunny, and you're reaching and looking for like a purpose so much that you have to like go with that wave of, again, some people might not find them funny, but I can assure you those people, if you sat with them, they would make you laugh within seconds easily. It just blows my mind like how fucking weird it is. I don't know. And I just feel bad for celebrities like that where it's like they catch like it's cool to hate them. Like I'm saying this like it happened to me. Like I got one bad comment. I'm like chalked up like these. No. But it puts in a perspective though, like how just dumb people are, and like how in a way like you have two things go wrong and then it like they just snowball, and it's like, dude, these people are still so talented. What the fuck are you talking about? You dumb loser, where your avatar pic on Instagram is you holding a fish, and you're gonna tell this person who's like wildly talented, hey, you're trash. You're like, but again, it's like if that person, you can't. It's like you can't get your point across when you just go at one of them, and that's what I was like, holy shit, this is kind of weird, because like I wanted to like write at something at every person, which I didn't, because the only ones I did, I was like, if I really felt like I had a funny comeback, and I was like, obviously I'm not gonna like somebody wrote faggot. I was just like, all right, I didn't even write anything. I was like, okay, thanks, but like I could have, but I was like, it's not funny. But kind of with the shit when there's like coming from all angles and they're so like dumb, you're like, I don't even want to waste my time, but in a way you're like, but then like if you don't, do you seem like, I don't know, it can get slippery. It's a slippery slope regardless, but I don't know. It's crazy though. And I kind of liked it. Oh fuck. I always thought like you should just like, see, in my head I'm like, why does Instagram even allow comment? I guess that'd be too weird to like not do that, but I don't know. Or even like Laugh Factory's page, I'm like, I wonder why they even put the comments up. But I get it's not for the negative, and if anything, that's fine and works with it. But very interesting to say the least. So that's what I've been doing aside from Jesus Christ. When I had to like record a bunch of these podcasts, like by the third one, there was one day where like I recorded it, uploaded it, thought I fixed it, recorded another one. By the third one, like I kind of want to like put that out for how just like angry and just like staring into the fucking thing I was. It was pretty funny. Just fucking dealing with this bullshit, boy. Fuck the internet. It's sad. Like, hey, it's weird how like you can. Mitch Hedberg had a funny joke where, I like doing stand up, but it's crazy how you have to be good at other things to make your stand up career get better. And like a way where, with he's like, his joke is like, oh, you're doing well in stand up. Hey, do you write TV shows? And he's like, no. He's like, what do you, that's not like, and his joke is like, what's it called? Oh, you're a good chef. Do you ever farm? Like it's kind of funny, but like for this, it's like I'm trying to learn to like doing social media, and it's very enjoyable. Like right now I'm having fun when the adult coffee crushes me, but it's just like I didn't get into it to do this per se, but I can see why you kind of fucking have to. I don't fucking know. This is not a funny podcast right now. I don't give a shit. I'm kind of enjoying just talking and not trying to be funny. But yeah, anyways, I'm trying to post more things and just kind of have a presence on the internet. There's all these there's like that TikTok app that's out now. That's like the new Vine. If you guys don't know what TikTok is, I'm not shocked because I just found out what it was like a week ago when I see all these ads on Twitter of like, it's just like funny, like their ad. It's like apparently for dancing, or that you can put more music over these videos, and their like ad just shows like these like teenage kids in like this like parking lot. Like, I'm like, call me crazy. When I was that age, I was not going to my buddies and being like, guys, I got a good idea. They're like, what? You're like, let's go dance in a parking lot. I would get their shit beat out of me. Me and my friends at that point in time in our lives were doing like jackass shit and falling out of trees, which I don't know how. One time I got stabbed by the stem of a bush. And that would have sucked, but guess what? Maybe these kids are just, what are their kids going to do? And I'm like, what are their kids going to do for fun? It's crazy how far away we're just getting from, like, imagine like hanging out with your grandpa and his friends when they were your age. Their lives were so different, and it blows my mind to think about. Like, even now, like, you ever hear stories of like maybe like, I'm sure some kids still go through because of, you know, stuff like it because it's a gradient and, you know, where you grew up, but it's like, I feel like back in the day they would just fight. They would just like fight people, and it was just so aggressive. Like, you ever hear stories? Who was it? They were like, what was it? Was it Joey Diaz's podcast where they were talking about, you know, like in the summer at like Jersey Shore, for example, like all these families would go on vacation, and like the Italian kids would like find, you know, link up and hang out with each other, and the Irish kids would, and they would just go fight in parking lots. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I feel like if, you know, those kids, you know, when they're older, saw what me and my friends were doing, like playing Foursquare with like a kickball, they'd be like, I would never be caught dead doing that shit. And now I'm looking at, you know, younger kids being like, what are you dancing for? I just don't, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old man and I suck. No, I don't. I'm not that old. Although, it's funny when, like, I'm 32. My dating app range is like 24 to fucking above my age. It doesn't matter above for the point of this idea, but kind of funny when girls like, you're old. It's like, as much as I want to be like, well, I have a job and like, it's still kind of like, you're like, oh, that kind of sucks. Yeah, well, you're young and youthful. They're like, good. You're like, fuck. All right. What is too, I don't know. God, that's another thing. Like, grandparents, like, I feel like their difference in age back in the day was like so much. How come every grandparent I think I'm like, your grandma was like 60 and your grandpa was like 80? You're like, how the fuck did that work out? But like, when they're older, you don't see anything of it. But now it's like, dude, remember like growing up and like if a girl was like a year younger than you, you're like, whoa. And then like every year you got older, that like gap kind of increased. But there has to be a point, and there for sure is, obviously, you know, given all that stuff. But it's always weird to me, like, what point, like, what's too much? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, is it something I just see like, oh my God, like there's a celebrity. He's 40 something. His girlfriend's 19. You're like, what the fuck? That is weird as shit. But like, then you want to put yourself in their shoes and be like, I guess if they like each other, I don't know how I got on this topic, but cause I'm a 32-year-old man with fungus on my toes, and I sit down to pee and throw pillows on my bed. I like having a place though that's like not fratty in a way. Not that I ever lived at like a frat place, but it's like, why can't I just live in a place that looks nice? The gradient of like being called a pussy. Oh, you're misogynist. You're saying pussies are bad. No, being called a wuss is very weird. There's something in here that I don't like, though. Like, I have a vase with a fake plant in it, but it looks good. Why is that bad? Why the fuck is that bad, huh? I can't just have a nice place where I like to come home. Some girl said my place smells like me, and it just, the way she said it sounded like an insult, and I was like, all right. What should your apartment smell like? And this is the problem with studio apartments. If you live in a studio apartment, the odor is such a priority in your life. I can leave for 10 minutes and come back and have it smell like people were wrestling in here. And I don't know, like, I'm learning now what is what. Like, your trash can in a studio apartment is like, you need to be conscious of it all day, all week long. Like, if you just let that shit go a little bit, and I'm not saying like go as in like fill up to the brim, but it's like you got to be considerate of what you throw away. You know, is it a raw item? Like, the amount of times you just let you forget and then you go away and you come back and you're like, did I just open the door to an asshole? Because this is fucking gross. The worst thing you can throw away is raw chicken. Even if it's like little pieces, let that shit sit overnight, and it's disgusting. And it's scary too, because like I take out my trash like 15 times a week because I'm just so terrified to come back. And even then, like when the girl came over, she's just like, I was like, damn, I was like, is there something in one of my trash cans that smells like it can be a version of me? I did that. Dude, your like garbage disposal, like you have to be so careful of like this shit. Like whatever I cook for dinner, like I smell that for a month. I can't do, like if I do fish, you need to, first off, people who cook fish in apartment buildings, you need to get it right away and cook it right away, because the second it gets weird, it stinks and people fuck it up. But I'd almost condone not doing it. I think I cook it well. Cook it sous vide. It's in a bag. It contains all the odors. You need to be... I'm going to write a book called How to Live in Small Places and Not Annoy Everyone Around You. Rule number 1, don't cook fish and smell like a complete douchebag. It's just like, when I come back and my hallway stinks. Not to mention this fucking building. It's always funny, like, walking through the building and I just see, like just now I came back and like someone got their mail and we happen to be walking the same way and like their door is like ahead and I was behind them and I have to take a left, but it's always weird to like look into other people's places. Just getting a glimpse into their life, you're like, ugh, that's what you, not that it's gross, but it's like weird. Like all their lights were red. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like you think everybody thinks like you. And that's what's crazy because we do. I think as far as like mannerisms and shit, and you know, maybe not down to a T, but like for the most part, we all think the same way. But then it's like down to like aesthetics and shit. It's always just crazy to see it just blows my mind. Like going into some people's places, and I'm like, you kind of like, you know, with this building, there's some window. I'm not peeking in windows, so slow the fuck down. But it's like. You're like, yo, why is there a bed in the dining room area? Like everything's just wrong. You're like, the fuck? And when you see that a lot is when, what's it called? You ever watch somebody make their ideal sandwich at Subway and you're like, ugh, what are you doing? That's what you think a sandwich is? Let me get some tomatoes, mustard, mayo, ketchup. You're like, you're already done. Get the fuck out of here. If you put mustard and mayo on a sandwich, you're fucking gross. I don't know what you're thinking. That's rule number 1. Sorry, I'm trying to remember something. That's weird as shit. What else do people do? I had a friend put lettuce on his meatball sub. I go, what are you doing? That is terrifying to me. Like, they should just, like, the government, if they want to just catch weirdos, just, like, post up at shit like that where you have to witness decision making and you can just be like, yeah, no one makes a sandwich like that. Like, let's, at least it'll raise some red flags. And, like, okay, maybe they're thinking outside the box, but there's a difference between thinking outside the box and being a psycho piece of shit. Sorry, look at something up. This is a fun podcast. I kind of like this episode, though, because I don't give a fuck. Oh, come on, you fucking people. Like when... I matched with a girl on a dating app, and it's always funny. You're like, you put your Instagram and then it's private. You're like, what do you think? I'm going to follow you immediately? What are you doing? Like, don't do that. Dude, I fucking hate dating apps so much. They're so stupid. Such a waste of goddamn time. Oh, cool. I have to go. It's just, this is a tale as old as time of not even the photos. That's almost the least of my worries now. I'm like, I can almost wrap my head around what you look like based on what you post, or decide if I want to like you. You know, like if you have a picture and it's like the side of your face and every other picture is you a mile away, I think we all know what's going on here, right? Like, it's not even, and some weird photos, like, use your brain, fucking wrap your head around it. Like, if her face looks different and she has blurry, like this one girl, like, everything was blurry and each picture looked different. You're like, okay, it's sketchy. Raise the red flag. I think people, what happens is you get so few matches, myself and mainly included, and then you finally get one and you see the best photo and you're like, she better look like just that. You have to grade from the worst one. You can never do the best picture because everybody can take a photo and look like a goddamn superstar. It's the weirdest one that you're like, that's the angle you're always going to see. These other angles are not normal or real for that matter. But you can put a filter on a picture all day. It's when you meet them, or like when you talk to them and you're like, and maybe this, I do this to them too. Like, the conversation is like, it's so weird when you meet the person on the date, like a girl, and you're talking to her and it's like borderline, like I don't want to say it's like high energy and then you meet them, it's low energy. It's just like they're this way on the phone and this way in person. And you're like, I like the phone person. Who the hell is this person? This is not normal. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's like it's like a high energy, like very interesting over here, and then in person they're just like, you're like, what the fuck is this? Why are you bashful? Like, I get being, and maybe it's just nerves, but it's like, even then you're like, who the fuck, I almost like going on weird dates now because I'm like, I look at it like this. I'm like, I want to train myself to meet people. Like, I don't want it always to be easy to meet people. Like, I feel like everybody always wants the conversation to go smooth and, there's no awkward pauses or this, that, and the other. It's like, and at the end of the day, I think everybody wants that, but I'm like, dude, embrace the dates where within 5 minutes you go, oh, this person's not the same as the internet. And then you're like, oh, I got to like train myself to like carry a conversation the whole night and like make sure it's interesting. Like, obviously if there's a point where you're like, fuck this shit, just leave. I get that. Like, don't do, but also it's like, I like seeing if I can like not only like interact with this person who's like throwing such a curveball, but also, interact and make it like still enjoyable for both people. Because sometimes in a weird way, like you do break through like the nervousness and you're like, oh, it's the same, people are just nervous, whatever. But it's crazy, like, aside from meeting the person, like a dating app person, it's like, it's good skill to have of just when you meet somebody in general. Like, I swear to God it's working because like there's times where I meet people now and they're just not talkative and I'm like, it's crazy. Like, I think from the practice, like my brain just knows like what to ask, and it's not just like a yes or no, but it's like my brain can quickly go to like a question that can keep the conversation going. And I'm almost like happy because I'm like, fuck it, it's not making it awkward for me because like I can damn well see like if I didn't put myself in those weird situations like 9 times out of 10, I would be like, it would be incredibly awkward with the person I'm talking to, but because I, deal with these bashful, or like even like loud places, or one thing I'm not good at is just the eye contact thing. Sometimes, like, isn't it weird if I'm just staring at somebody like in their eyes? So like, what's the etiquette of eye contact? I'm kind of curious about that. Eye contact etiquette. How long? This must have been Googled before. How long should you look? Wow, I typed that fast. How long should you look into someone's eyes for when talking? On average, a participant were most comfortable with eye contact that lasted just over 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then you kind of look away and you... 1. See, how long do you can go back? The vast majority of participants for the duration of 2 to 5 seconds. It's very interesting, people. I've always wondered that. I saw a podcast recently, I don't want to name names, but it was Schmo Rogan and Mark Schmormand, and Mark Norman didn't make eye contact with him the whole time, and it was like to the point where I was like, it's kind of hard to pay attention like to what they're saying, and it's like I'm not bashing anybody, and he's a huge fan of the guy, but I was just interested because I was like, holy fuck, and then I was thinking, I was like, how long should you look at somebody for? And you don't think of these things, but I'm just... Because there are times like some people are too aggressive, and then in my head I'm like, is that normal and I'm a pussy, or are they a psycho just holding it for 10 seconds? I want to do that to somebody one time, just like, oh, my neighbor is coming back. That's great. That's very interesting to think though. What is considered prolonged eye contact? Oh, well, I guess this is number 2. They think you're attractive. Well, I get that. See, it's always weird. Like, you ever have a significant other, like a, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the fuck you want to say, and, or like my ex, like, we would look at each other and I would not feel weird staring at her. Like, I wouldn't even think about it. You kind of just talk to the person, like, or you're like mom or a family member. It's weird, like, you don't think about that, and then you meet somebody and you're just like, what is it with strangers' eyes where you're like, stop this fucking now? God, I want to like science of eye. See, like, I don't care about the science of eye contact attraction. I want to be like, what is the thing that makes me not want to shit my pants because I'm staring at the ground and I'm scared to look up? What's another thing that's like weird to maintain for too long like that? I swear to God, I'm even awkward looking. Like, this looks like an eye, and I almost like don't like look. I don't like looking at it because there's a light right behind it, and I think that has something to do with it. But even just knowing like this, I just feel weird staring. I guess that's it too. You just feel weird staring in one spot, but also like doing this the whole time when somebody's talking to you. I've talked to people before, and like as you're talking to them, they're like looking above your head, and you're like, okay, I'm cool with you looking around, but like, why do you just look over my head? Like, there's like just certain, you ever somebody that's like look you and they're just doing one angle, and you're like, you kind of want to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? What are we gonna take away from this shitty episode that I swear to God, if it's not synced up, I'm still posting it, so I don't give a fuck. If at this point I'm talking and my mouth isn't matched up, just fucking deal with it. What are we gonna take away? That enjoy coffee for what it does to you. Maybe that's because, I don't know, that's my problem. I chug coffee, so I don't know. Maybe I should get a good, before next week's episode, I'm going to get a really good cup of coffee, and I want to come back here and I'm going to test the K-Cup against that, and I want to see what the difference is. I think it's more the viscosity of it. Hey, Matt, don't use big words, you piece of shit. You ever have somebody use a big word, you're like, you're not that person, so shut the fuck up. Just talk to me like we're human beings. Stop trying to impress me or like act like you're that person. People on the internet, shut the fuck up. If you're going to comment something, why don't you have the balls to put your address? That should be a rule. If it can tell it's a negative comment, you have to put where you live. Then let's see how ballsy you are, you fuck. I don't know. And lastly, look down at people when you talk. Just stare at people in the eyeballs. God, with that being said, Guys, was that the business? All right, I do have to go. Going to an open mic. An open mic is where people who are not successful go to do things that are not funny. So, folks, I appreciate it. I hope this works. And if it didn't, we're still posting this. All right, guys, thank you. Bye.
Oh, this you crazy mother.